Petra, predictions here.
Wow, what a bold decision from the PSI to sack Shin Tae Yong. Like, I don't really understand why right at this point as well. But apparently it was to do with communication and tactical issues. The loss to China and the Asiatic most recent group stage exit. I'm going to break this down. Communication issues. He was there for 5 years. If you have communication issues with someone, surely you would have terminated the contract after 18, 24 months, a good enough time to see where the communication's going. Tactical issues, I mean, Indonesia do realize that, they are the lesser caliber nation. So, of course, you're going to be playing kind of defensively, parking the bus a bit, but counter-attacking football. And of recent, this seems to have been working really well, and it looks like the players are buying into it. And it seems like, Indonesia are reaping the rewards of this. And especially players like Marcelino and Vertonghen, like, it seems to fit the players as well, this style. So I'm not sure what they mean by that. The loss to China, yes, that was a big loss, especially to a direct rival for that kind of playoff or direct spot for the World Cup. But in that match, China just played fantastically, probably the best they've played in decades. Like, they randomly were playing like Leicester in the 2015-16 Premier League season. So I think that was a bit of a freakish one-off. And especially after, soon after Indonesia won against Saudi, which I'll touch upon later. And then the Asiatic group stage exit. So Shin played the under-23 squad. The average age for that squad was 20. So it was very clear the focus is not on this when you're having a good, momentous World Cup qualifiers. Like, this is serious stuff. And this tournament, is not. And quite frankly, the only nations that seem to take the Asiatic Cup seriously is Thailand and Vietnam. Like, no one else seems to take it seriously. And those teams are not as far in the World Cup qualifiers. So it's just such a different focus. But I do appreciate from the PSSI, like, Indonesia has an awful record of having been to the Asiatic Cup final 6 times without a win. So, potentially. To be fair, I understand to sack a manager if there was only like 2-3 points from this World Cup qualifiers, like it's not really going anywhere. But there was 2 very respectable draws against Saudi and Australia. And most significantly, at the halfway point, Indonesia won against Saudi Arabia so convincingly as well. Like, this was such a morale boosting victory, like, for everyone involved, for the players especially. And at the halfway point, like, it was so important. And it's these type of wins at halfway points in campaigns that can positively change a whole campaign. So it seems really poor decision making to change the manager now. Apparently there was some rebellion against Shin from some of the new naturalized diaspora players. I believe it was Idzes and Hilgers that were kind of leading it. So it seems like that clearly impacted it. But I have quite mixed feelings about this. Like, players to be coming in new, like, to be, stirring stuff up. Like, I don't know how much that is the manager's fault. Let's look at some stats of Shin's time in Indonesia. So he was the first manager to qualify Indonesia for, like, the final round of the World Cup qualifiers, where you can qualify directly. Well, the last time Indonesia were in a World Cup that they didn't really qualify. It was withdrawal of Japan. That's how they qualified. So no matches were played for them. He's the first manager within 20 years to qualify Indonesia for the Asian Cup. I'm not counting the 2007 one because Indonesia were hosts. So there was no need to qualify there. He's the first manager to get Indonesia to progress out of the group stage successfully within an Asian Cup. And he had a 43% win rate over the 5 years. That does sound low, but in international football, 43% is actually like a high number, especially for Indonesia's caliber, to be honest. And he did this all whilst managing the senior team, the under-23 team, and the under-20 team. So, fair play, Shin. Now, let's look at Patrick Kluivert's managerial career. Well, there's not too much to it, to be honest. And if you see, there's actually a massive gap in between some of his jobs. So very unconvincing stuff, to be honest. And yes, Kluivert was brought in to kind of, with the diaspora, a lot of them are Dutch originally. So I get that, the communication and they can resonate with each other and hopefully, gel and bond better potentially. But if that was the case, why wouldn't you bring in Joost Hinding? Like, this guy has a real good track records with kind of lower caliber teams. He got Netherlands to the semi-finals of a World Cup in 1998. He famously got South Korea to the 2002 World Cup semis. He also got Russia to the semis of a Euros in 2008. Very proven manager, even on the international stage. And he is the type of manager, as Chelsea know well, to like, when a team is not doing well, to kind of get momentum up, that kind of short-term plug. So Hiddink is clearly a better option. So it raises questions why all of this happened, to be honest. And it seems like it could be a marketing stunt from the PSSI of, showing, they're going for the higher caliber, the Western kind of managers. So there you have my kind of short review on what I think about Indonesia's managerial issues. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? What do you think Indonesia and the PSSI should have done within this situation? And as always, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you in the next video.